I want you to think back to the last time you were out for dinner with a group of friends. The night is winding down, the conversation has been great, and then that moment happens. The server drops the bill in the center of the table, you glance at it, and before you can even process your share, someone says those 4 words that can either be a relief or a quiet nightmare. Let's just split it. You had the salad and a water. They had 3 cocktails and the steak. But you nod, you smile, and you tap your card. In that moment, you aren't just paying for dinner, you're paying a tax, a social tax. And while an extra $20 or $30 might not seem like a tragedy in isolation, it's a symptom of something much deeper, something that is quietly, invisibly shaping the entire trajectory of your financial life. We like to think of our money as a series of logical, individual choices. We think our net worth is the result of our own discipline, our own career moves, and our own math. But the truth is much more subtle, and honestly, a little bit more uncomfortable. Your bank account isn't just a reflection of your work ethic. It's a reflection of your environment. It's a mirror held up to the 5 or 10 people you spend the most time with. Today, I want to talk about why your friends secretly influence your net worth and how the social circles we inhabit normalize habits that either build wealth or quietly dismantle it. When we talk about peer pressure, we usually think of high school. We think of being talked into doing something reckless or rebellious. But as adults, peer pressure doesn't look like a dare. It looks like a lifestyle. It's the invisible architecture of what we consider normal. Most of us don't realize that we have a financial baseline. This is the internal thermostat that tells us what a normal car looks like, what a normal vacation costs, or how much is normal to spend on a Saturday night. The problem is, we don't set that thermostat ourselves. We let the people around us dial it in. If all your friends are leasing new cars every 3 years, then having a car payment of $600 doesn't feel like a burden, it just feels like a fact of life. If your social circle views a $5 coffee as a daily human right and a $3,000 trip to Europe as an annual necessity, you stop questioning the cost. You stop looking at the math, and you start looking at the consensus. We have this deep biological need to belong. Thousands of years ago, being cast out of the tribe meant literal death. Today, it just means feeling awkward at brunch. But our brains don't know the difference. The pain of being the only one who says no, the only one who stays home, or the only one who suggests a free park hangout instead of an expensive bar feels like a threat to our survival. So we pay. We spend to stay synchronized with the people we love. We call it keeping up with the Joneses, but it's not always about vanity. Often it's just about connection. But here is the reality we have to face. You can be the most disciplined person in the world, but if you're constantly fighting against the current of your social circle, eventually you're going to get tired. And when you get tired, you'll just start drifting with them. There's a concept in psychology called social contagion. It's the idea that behaviors, emotions, and even financial habits spread through networks like a virus. If your best friend starts investing in index funds and talking about their Roth IRA, there's a statistically significant chance that you will start doing the same. But the opposite is also true. If your social circle views debt as a tool for consumption rather than a dangerous weight, you will eventually view it that way too. I remember a time in my life when I was surrounded by people who were constantly leveling up. New apartments, better clothes, the latest tech. And for a while, I felt behind. I felt like I was failing because my life didn't look like theirs. I started making choices not because I wanted the things, but because I wanted to feel like I was still part of the group. I was trading my future freedom for present-day belonging. It wasn't that my friends were bad people. They weren't trying to sabotage me. They were just living out their own scripts. But their scripts were becoming my script. We have to realize that wealth isn't just about how much money you make, it's about the gap between what you earn and how you live. And that gap is almost entirely determined by what your friends think is reasonable. If you hang out with people who treat every Friday like a celebration of surviving the work week, you're going to spend your way through every weekend. But if you spend time with people who treat their time as their most valuable asset, you'll start to see your money differently. You'll start to see it as a tool to buy back that time. Think about the conversations you have when you're out. Are you talking about the things you bought or the things you're building? Are you talking about the stress of your bills or the excitement of your goals? These conversations are the seeds of your financial future. This brings us to a turning point, a realization that changed the way I look at every relationship in my life. You don't have to change your friends to change your life, but you do have to change the way you interact with the social gravity they exert. The moment you realize that your financial habits are being outsourced to your social circle is the moment you regain your power. It's the moment you stop being a passenger in your own life. You start to see that normal is often just a collective agreement to stay broke. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Realizing this doesn't mean you have to go out and find a whole new set of friends who are all millionaires. That's the hustle culture advice that feels cold and transactional. Life is more than a balance sheet, and friendship is one of the few things that actually makes wealth worth having. But it does mean you need to become the architect of your environment. It means recognizing which friends trigger your urge to spend and which friends inspire your urge to grow. It means being brave enough to be the one who changes the conversation. So, how do we actually do this? How do we protect our net worth without becoming a hermit or losing the people we care about? It starts with something that feels incredibly uncomfortable in our culture: radical financial transparency, or at least radical honesty. Most of the pressure we feel from our friends is imagined. We assume they expect us to spend at a certain level, so we do. And they might be doing the exact same thing, spending money they don't want to spend just because they think you expect them to. It's a cycle of mutual, silent exhaustion. Breaking that cycle can be as simple as saying, "Hey, I'm really trying to hit a big savings goal this year, so I'm cutting back on the fancy dinners. Can we do a potluck at my place instead?" You'll be surprised by how often the response isn't judgment, but relief. You might find out that your friends were waiting for someone else to give them permission to stop spending too. By being the one who values their future over their image, you're not just helping yourself, you're shifting the gravity of the entire group. You're normalizing a new habit. Another practical step is to seek out aspirational proximity. Find a community, even if it's just online or through books and podcasts, where the habits you want to build are the normal ones. When you see other people celebrating their first $10,000 in a brokerage account instead of a new car, your brain starts to recalibrate. You start to realize that there is a different version of winning. You don't need to dump your old friends, but you do need to introduce new voices into your life that challenge the default script. You need to find people who make you feel behind in the right way, not because they have more stuff, but because they have more peace, more clarity, and more control. We have to move away from the idea that money is a private, shameful thing. The more we hide our financial struggles or goals from our friends, the more power the social circle has over us. When we open up, the influence becomes something we can navigate together rather than something that happens to us in the dark. At the end of the day, your net worth is just a number, but what that number represents is freedom. It represents the ability to say yes to the things that matter and no to the things that don't. And that freedom is very hard to maintain if you're constantly tethered to a lifestyle they can't afford. I want you to take a look at your calendar for the next month. Look at the people you're planning to see. Ask yourself, do these people make it easier or harder for me to become the person I want to be? Do they celebrate my discipline or do they mock it? Do they normalize my growth or do they anchor me to my past? This isn't about being judgmental. Everyone is on their own journey, and most people are doing the best they can with the scripts they were given. But you are the only one who has to live with the consequences of your financial choices. Your friends won't be there to pay your mortgage when you're 60. They won't be there to fund your retirement or buy you the time you need to pursue your passions. It's okay to be the person who chooses a different path. It's okay to be the one who stays in a smaller house or drives the older car because you value the silence of being debt-free more than the noise of being cool. If you're feeling anxious about your money right now, I want you to know that it's not just you. We are living in a world designed to make us spend, surrounded by people who are often just as lost as we are. But awareness is the first step towards a different life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overhaul your entire social life by tomorrow morning. Just start by noticing the social tax you're paying. Start by having one honest conversation. Start by choosing your influences more intentionally than you choose your clothes. Progress is slow, and it's often quiet. It looks like saying no to a dinner today so you can say yes to your freedom tomorrow. It looks like finding the people who love you for who you are, not for how much you spend when you're with them. In the long run, the people who truly belong in your life will respect your boundaries. They might even be inspired by them. And the people who don't, well, they were never really part of your tribe to begin with. They were just part of the script. Take a breath, look at your goals, and remember that while you can't always control the economy or the world around you, you can control who you let into your ears and who you let sit at your table. Choose wisely, because your future self is watching, and they're hoping you'll have the courage to be just a little bit different. Thank you for being here today. If this resonated with you, maybe take a moment to think about one friend you can have an honest conversation with this week. It might be the most valuable investment you ever make. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.